And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is September 30th, 2025. Hope you are having a good day. I am, because I won my fantasy league last night. Garrett Wilson had a good game. I am still undefeated this year. Reese's Pieces, named after my grandson. 3-0-1, and I actually should be 4-0 because in the first week I tied. I had a tight end going into the last game that got me 0. All he needed was 1 point, but 3-0-1 is pretty good. Anyway. That's that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, serious talk on everything affects you, and I got to tell you something. I don't care what anybody has to say about this president. You cannot argue the amount of movement with this president. Do you know, in the last day, just in the last day, trying to get peace with Hamas and Israel. Of course, as you know, we know Hamas very well. We have studied them. They don't want peace. They want the destruction of Israel and every Jewish person. By the way, they want to destroy the West completely. If they had the ability, they would bomb the living hell out of the United States, every other country that does not kiss their butts. They're murderers. So we don't know what's going to come of that. But today, I have to tell you, there is something next November called a midterm election where normally the other party gains seats. But in this case, the other party is a bunch of morons, a bunch of Marxists, know-nothing, do-nothing morons that all they do is complain and whine while the Republicans at least try to move some needles. And I know what the complaints are at Trump, but let me just tell you today. And I don't know what's going to be the ultimate outcome. As you know, there is a government shutdown, I think, supposed to happen at midnight tonight. I actually don't even know where that stands because I really was not paying much attention. And I do know also, the whining and complaining about him. But here's the latest. And by the way, consumer confidence keeps going lower, but the market keeps going higher. There's so many cross currents, I don't even know where to start. But today, I was just thinking to myself today, here's what happened today. And by the way, we'll introduce ourselves in a little bit. Pfizer confirms an agreement with the Trump administration that will ensure U.S. patients pay lower prices for their prescription medicines. I want you to think about that. It will ensure U.S. patients pay lower prices for prescription medications. It provides certainty from tariffs and clarity on a pricing framework that furthers Pfizer's ability to expand investment in U.S.-based innovation and return manufacturing to the U.S. Wow. It's also going to bring most favored nation pricing to American patients. What does that mean? Most favored nation pricing. Well, if a pill costs $5 in Canada but $10 here, it now costs $5. If a pill costs $5 in Canada, $10 here, $15 in Russia, it's $5. This is an amazing announcement. The agreement will provide every state Medicaid program in the country access to prices on Pfizer products. Millions of dollars in savings. It's unbelievable. Foreign nations now can no longer use price controls to free ride on American innovation. The agreement also has Pfizer has to repatriate increased foreign revenue on existing products. The agreement requires Pfizer to offer medicines at a deep discount off the list price. Now, as you know, I don't want government involved, but if government negotiates private business to do it and they do it willfully, you gotta be good. And you know what happens next? You think it's just going to be Pfizer? Guess what everybody else is going to have to do? Unreal. The Pfizer CEO actually came out and said Americans were assuming disproportional costs. Wow. Hopefully this outcome is going to be great. We'll see. But on the surface, dang. How are the Marxist Party going to attack him now? And as you know, we are absolutely positively about policy. No favor. We call balls and strikes here. And we've hit the president on quite a few things. We've complimented him on others. This one on the surface, wow! Drug stocks, which have been absolute dead money, rocketed today. I was trying to think, why would they rocket today on this news? And I got to tell you, I cannot come up with an answer. Because when stocks rocket, it usually means they're going to be making more money, new product, new this, new that. Whatever the reason is, the market loved it. And I had to make up a screen of 5-6 drug stocks. AbbVie, McKesson, Novartis, Johnson & Johnson's a new yearly high. Merck has been in a brutal bear market. That was up 7% today. And Volume, heavy. And Glaxo, which is now called GSK. So we're just letting you know out of the box, wow! I'm impressed. And you know it takes a lot for me to be impressed. Every person out there, especially the elderly, and I have to tell you, at the end, before my father passed, he had like 10 different bottles of pills. And I would ask the doctor, why 10? Doesn't this change that? Who the hell knows what these doctors are given? I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I have to tell you, when I see my father with 10 different bottles of pills, I wonder. So we just wanted to start the show with that. We applaud this president on this news. I'm trying to come up, just so you know, I'm trying to come up with what's wrong with this and how does it hurt or how does it harm. I'm not so sure I can come up with anything. By the way, also medical stocks in research, development, products, which have been bearish, had a very strong day today. Major downtrends in some of these names. So whatever, and I'm going to have to read up more about it tonight, but stocks like Danaher, Thermoelectron, Stryker didn't really move today. Even Intuitive Surgical, that's been a brutal bear market. Good move today. So on this, well done. Now, I believe there's a government shutdown tonight. The market did not give a crap, and as we told you last night, it's much ado about nothing. It's all a con game. Up next, we'll introduce ourselves again and talk about the con game. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm reading a little bit more on all this. By the way, a few things we've been telling you about alcohol and consumption. It came out today, confirmed U.S. alcohol consumption is at a record low. Just letting you know. That's good stuff. Alcohol's so overrated. So the government shut. Oh, by the way, this is Investor's Edge, serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do markets, the economy, your job, your industry, scams, shams, corruption, debt and deficits, and that's out of hand, and all the news that really does affect you big time. So there's supposedly a government shutdown tonight. I was watching the Marxist Party. I get videos. Between Schumer and what's the other guy who runs the House? I forgot his name already. They're morons. When you are debating, you need to come with some ammo. You need to come with some ammo. They're coming with no ammo at all. Anyway, we may have a government shutdown, and they're lying to you as usual. I saw a reporter on the Today Show. Remember, the Today Show, just a bunch of moron reporters, all so anti-Israel, make stuff up. Even Al Roker, who I love, by the way, but you know what? 75 million people are going to be affected by the heat wave. Like Godzilla's going to breathe his air and you're all going to die. 75 million. So they get this guy out today, another reporter, another goofball, and he says, the government shutdown could have catastrophic consequences. He used the word catastrophic. And I actually have to look at the definition of catastrophic. So let me just tell you, in case you're worried, because the left right now is trying to scare the crap out of you if we have a government shutdown. Number one, they used to tell you, oh, you're not going to get your Social Security and Medicare and all that stuff. Well, that was easily figured out to be a lie, so they don't do that anymore. So anyway, Social Security payments are coming to you. You don't have to worry about it. There's enough money from Medicaid right now until it goes bankrupt. Just letting you know. As far as food stamps and stuff like that, they say they could be affected. They have never been affected. Just letting you know. Inspections, TSA, flights, all that stuff. Not much is going to change. Not much is going to change. Of course, they throw in there, well, people may not show up because they're mad. They just make it up like there's still more. Postal Service continues to deliver mail. National parks stay open, though that wonderful President Barack Obama shut them. Do you remember that? He shut them and he didn't have to, so you would get mad at the Republicans. The museums stay open. Visa and passport services have stayed open. Police, firemen stay on the job. So what's shutting down in governments? You tell me. They're a joke. So I just want to let you know the world ain't going to end. It's not going to be catastrophic like this joker on the Today Show today. and all that crap. Just letting you know. I think we'd have a 5-star show if we just did a show on all the bull crap that's spewed by the media to try and scare you. And by the way, I'm not making this up when the weatherman says 75 million people will be affected. Get out of here. It's going to be 90 degrees in Milwaukee. 90's a cold day in Florida. Anyway. How's that? By the way, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And I mean that if you don't get our show, and there's always been a lot of changes. Hey, Portland, our KBNP, that magnificent station, has Money Radio run by the marvelous Keith Lyons. That's shut down. So everybody in Portland to listen to this show until we get another Portland station, GaryK.com. Or go to our X feed. We post it there. It's also on the YouTube channel of Biz TV. And by the way, very soon you're going to see me doing the radio show. Yeah, we're going to do all that crap. We're copying the others that do that stuff. And that's that. Which has a segue. By the way, let me just state for the record again. We have been avoids for healthcare and medicals for a long while, rightfully so. They got juiced up today. I'm going to have to look them over. And there's some breakouts today in some drug stocks. AbbVie, Glaxo, Johnson & Johnson, McKesson, Novartis. Eli Lilly's been very weak. I think that jumped $35 today. So what I have to read in why this news of drug companies lowering prices helps their stock prices. That's going to be an interesting one to try and figure out. What else? I have to mention defense stocks. Another new high in General Dynamics, LH Group, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon. Somebody emailed me and said they think it has to do with all the money we're spending on NATO and all that. I don't know. All I can tell you, defense stocks, very strong also today. And some into new high ground, just letting you know. You got bounces today in weak areas like food and beverage and insurance. They're just bounces. You had a little better tone in a lot of the economic sensitive. Let me tell you what got hit today. Capital One Financial, American Express, some of the buy now, pay later stuff. I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Because Amazon is doing, Amazon, if they're not the greatest disruptor of all time, Amazon, they announced something where basically it's going to shove credit cards to the side. Amazon had this big confab. It's called Buy with Prime, by the way. It's a direct-to-customer offering, and it's available for some products, but I gather it's going to be exposed to everything. So American Express down 10, Capital One down 11 today, and that broke the 50-day badly. Rough day for financials, though they came back decently at the end of the day. But a lot of jello moving on the plate today. Up next, what else be sticking out? I got a few. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Yeah, doing the break, I'm going through drug stocks. Dang. Wow. I'm going to have to spend 15 minutes on why would drug stocks go up on all this news? It's not like they're going to sell more, right? I don't know. Market was weak most of the day and juiced into the close. Dow up 81, S&P 27, NASDAQ 68, NASDAQ 100 68, SOX up 54. Quite the amazing. Let me throw you a few things out there. NVIDIA broke out again with a little extra volume today. Went to the highs, sat around for 8 weeks back and forth and broke above today. Gold, the GLD up another $3 today, which is absolutely, just amazing. Really amazing. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But good move in gold just keeps going. Oh, that's why. I think another weak dollar day today, if I am correct. Yeah, dollar was weak again today. Yields were flattish today, so no big deal. But just as I mentioned, oil's got hit today. There's rumors that OPEC is going to increase production. Then they denied it, so that came back a little bit. But still, oils are mixed bag. Housing was weak today. The financials, you said. Consumer stuff. I'm just letting you know that hotels, airlines, cruise lines, restaurants all remain in different levels of what we call bearishness. With some there are some huge downtrends in the restaurants. Cava Group has been destroyed. Chipotle has been bludgeoned. Brinker International is really getting hit hard after a great year. We'd avoid those areas. We have mentioned to you about the ridiculously hyped initial public offerings that are opening up hot. You know what they did to one of them today? Symbol FLY. Came public at $45. They opened it up at $74. This is about 7 weeks ago. $45 deal. Even though they lose a ton of money, even though valuation right now is $4.2 billion with not $100 million in sales, they report earnings, another big loss, and a 26% drop in revenue, symbol FLY, down 20.67 today to $29. So they hyped you up at 74, it's 29. So when we tell you, hey, we're just letting you know, we're taking out information from the market itself, and they keep opening up these initial public offerings hot, and then they're crashing because that hot number is at ridiculous valuations, and then the market takes over. Well, FLY ain't flying anymore. And I got a bunch of others that are down 50%. That's 50. In weeks. And that's why it's imperative you pay attention, keep your feet on the ground, and take out the evidence out of the market that it gives you. And boy, oh boy, they've been doing a screw job on the initial public offerings. Everybody in FLY is losing money. Anybody who bought that stock is losing money. Anybody who's bought Figma, $33 deal that they within a day of opening, they had it $140, and they were touting the living crap out of it. 51 from 140 in weeks. When that changes, we'll let you know. There will come a point in time where they find an area of defense and some great growth names turn up. But as I'm looking at some of these names, it is disgusting what Wall Street is doing again. They do it all the time. They are foisting upon you dollar bills and making you pay $10 if you're not careful. That's the best way I can put it. Other things happening today. Man, oh man. You ever hear of Flutter? It's from Ireland. It's online betting. Well, it looks like they were trying to get some gaming betting license with this, that, and the other thing company, and it went to somebody else. Down $30 today. Talk about having to be on your guard. That got hit. How about Mercado Libre? A very important retail internet trading of products, digital technology out of Latin America. Down $164 today. By the way, on heavy volume. And by the way, some of that is Argentina. Remember, they brought in this capitalist guy, and he's done a fantastic job. But the overhang from years of debt and deficits are taking over. And I can tell you that the ETF for Argentina, which was so strong, in the last 4 months, 96 to 69. And I think that has something to do with the Mercado Libre. What did we tell you? Jello moving on the plate. Spotify, their founder, I guess he's stepping down or moving to the side. I don't know. Down $31 today, breaking a support. The travel stocks, as I mentioned to you, Expedia hit, Booking Holdings hit. Something to watch very closely, because if the market is flushing out something about the consumer, which is like 70% of the economy, and again, right now, restaurants, airlines, hotels, cruise lines under pressure, not to mention ADP and paychecks, which, by the way, were down big today and came back by the close, but still in downtrends. Paychecks had earnings, and they weren't good. Paychecks at one time today hit 119, closed at 127, still down a couple of bucks. I think that reversal up had to do with the fact that it's already down from 161 just a few months ago. And then a little bit of the week got weaker today. You know, we talked to you about our left screen, which is a bunch of weak stocks that used to be strong. HubSpot down $52, Intuit down $12 today. We mentioned Mercado Libre and Flutter, Workday, Zillow. I could go through Twilio, Team. I can go through a litany of weak names that were blasted today. That were absolutely blasted today. That's to be watched. But when all is said and done today, I can tell you again, amazingly, the NASDAQ at one time today hit 22,493, was down 110, and finished up 68. And by the way, with a rally into the close. The Dow today at one time today hit 46,103, was down almost 300, finished up 82. That's the type of market we want to see on an intraday basis. Down early, good closes. You know what bear markets do? Up early, bad closes. And that's the story of today. Very good finish as we head into the fourth quarter, which we have no idea what's going to happen. But third quarter, pretty darn good. Led by AI and semiconductors and banks and now drugs. Who's to figure? I can't wait to read up on this drug thing with the president and why these stocks moved up today. If any of you out there are smarter than me and know why, email me. I'd like to know. I can't figure it out. And that's the little story about today. New yearly high list, not bad. And advanced declines finished better on the day after being pretty crappy early in the day. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Nike reported after the close, was up $4. Now it's up 25 cents. Let's see. Revenues rose 1% year over year. They did beat estimates by... They were expecting to do 27 cents. They did 9. Let's see. Was that a sandbag? Yeah, it was a sandbag. Just so you know, what they do is they kind of sort of throw out guidance there, knowing they can beat it. That 49 cents in earnings was versus last year's 70. So earnings were down a decent amount. Not very good. And in case you don't know, Nike stock is down from $179. It's $69 right now over the last 3 years. And even worse, unbelievable, Under Armour topped out in 2015 at $55. It's $5. Last I looked, that's like in the 90s. I know they tell you think long term. We tell you think long term. Make sure what you're holding is working long term. Right? Hey, in the news, I don't know if there's anything that can top this drug thing. And I am going to have to, and by the way, for the last half hour, the president's holding this whole big thing in the White House, so I have to rewind my little DVR here. I'm going to have to watch that whole thing and see what the heck they have to say. I haven't heard anything news on the fake government shutdown. I love they call it that, government shutdown. If only, right? That would be nice. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So in the news, let me tell you what stood out today that I wanted to throw up. You ever see Vanity Fair magazine? I've never seen it. I've seen it on shelves or something. I don't know anything about it. But I know it's another one of those left-wing crazies. They actually have a front cover of Vanity Fair. I'm not making this up. I wish I was. The Legend of Zoran. Is this the man, the future of American politics, with a picture with people surrounding him, with the little under headline, New York City's mayoral candidate has Kennedy-like charisma, a global profile, a Nepo baby instinct. He is also a proud democratic socialist who has both Donald Trump and the left-wing establishment in a lather. Is Zoran Madami the future of American politics or a fantasy? They are kissing this guy's communist arse. Imagine. Vanity Fair. This is a man that has not basically, in plain sight, kicked the teeth out of Israel and Jews. He's a racist anti-Semite. He's called for government taking over the means of production. That is out of the communist handbook. Communist. Not even Marxist. Not even socialist. What happened? Well, I know what happened. They're insane. You do realize these people that are writing this hate communism. But they're still going to do this because they know it won't affect them. Only when it affects them. You know these judges? I was reading a story about a girl that was just murdered, and the father was just able to go in front of the house. It's been found out that the murderer was let out 31 times. Arrests, and more than a dozen were violent arrests where a couple almost died. And then he murders a young girl. The judges that do this, because it doesn't affect them. No big deal. What do I care? Not until it affects. Do you know the woman who runs Washington, D.C.? Well, in D.C., crime has gone down because the president sent in help. She's no longer fighting it. Do you know why? Because people she knows got carjacked and mugged. I'm not sure if she may have been also. It's amazing to watch. The mayor of Chicago will actually go out and talk about everything's fine while 15 people are shot on a Saturday and 6 dead. Yet this Vanity Fair does this whole puff piece on a racist, anti-Semitic communist. And he can call himself a democratic socialist all he wants. If it looks like a communist, smells like one, tastes like one, it is one. That was in the news today. I'm not in such a bad mood because I didn't read the article, but I know what I'd be finding in that article. In the news, in case you didn't know. Because we always get the question, Gary, we hear Germany's in recession, China's in trouble, this country, that country. Why are their stocks up? Central banks have slashed interest rates 168 times over the last 12 months. And what you need to know is easier money by central banks usually leads near-term or even a while-term rallies in the market until it's over. We'll let you know when it's over. That all said, good comeback today. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise they will be well. Thanks for joining, everybody. Have a good night.